Today is a special day for me because today the United States and the Netherlands are in the final 16 of the World Cup in Qatar, the 2022 World Cup. And it's special for me because I'm Dutch and American. I have a Dutch father and an American mother. And this World Cup and seeing the teams perform there, I love watching it, and I love analyzing teams and their leaders and how they're being coached. And the primary reason for that is that I worked with the Dutch Olympic team for 2 years, and I helped them develop team chemistry, and I helped them develop their mental game. And it is so fascinating to watch these teams play and develop themselves. And one thing I know from experience, it's always the best team that wins. It's not the best group of individuals. No, it's the best team that wins. And so after that Olympics, and when the Dutch team won the final, and the gold medal, that's when I wrote my book, The Power of Polarities. And in it, I describe how I used Jungian typology to help them create, the inner strength for outer performance. So the Power of Polarities is all about the polarities in the personality and the polarities in the psyche. And so if you want to high perform at a event like the World Cup or the Olympic Games, you need to develop the inner strength to do so. And so for that, over the course of 2 years, I would go there about once a month for an evening and do a workshop with them and facilitate them. I'd also sometimes go with them on their trips. And out of this work, I developed the 7 steps towards a high-performing team. So that's what I want to share with you today. And the first thing I want to say is kind of a disclaimer. And as you know, you are on my email list because you have a personality profile that you made on my website. And the first thing I'd like to say is the disclaimer is this personality profile is not worth anything unless you do something with it. So I made personality profiles for everyone in that team, but what really mattered, what really made a difference is the work and the workshops I did with them. So let's see. So the first step, there are 7 steps. The first step is a very obvious one. It is know yourself. So I first start with the personality profile. Then I see, does it match? Because in 20 to 30% of the cases there is type falsification. You think you're something that you're not. So the first step is know yourself, be your most authentic self, know your superpower, know your kryptonite, know your strengths, know your limitations, and all using this model behind me, which you're hopefully familiar with. And these are all the elements of the personality that I used to build team chemistry with. Okay, the second step is understanding others and understanding how others are different and how they bring different strengths and limitations to the table, and how essentially you need all of them. You need all of them in order to high perform. So once you know all the polarities of the teams, once you've mapped everyone here, you know what all the different qualities are in a team, that's where you need to help a team find a common center. So that's the third step. And the common center is kind of it's a transcendent goal. It is a higher purpose. It is that which the team wants to put itself in service of. So, for instance, with this Dutch Olympic team, they decided that they wanted to change sports, and specifically they wanted to show and demonstrate that teamwork makes the dream work. So they really put teamwork in the center. That's what they wanted their team to be about. Now, there's a big mistake that business teams and sports teams make, and that is they put a result in the center. They make it all about the result. They make it all about the gold medal, or they make it all about a certain business goal. but you need to define your why before you define your how and your what. So you define a common center, which is basically your contribution to the world, in this case the world of sports. And next you need to develop, that's step 4, you need to develop operating principles or values or operating values. There are many names for it. And the way I did this is, if you look at the 4 quadrants, you have here the 4 functions, thinking, feeling, red, and intuition and sensation, and in between them are the temperaments. And for each of the temperaments, the team must define an operating principle or an operating value in order to bring that quality online. The technician needs to have an operating principle. The helper, how are we going to help each other? The visionary, what is a compelling story of our team? What is our journey going to be about? And the inventor is about how are we going to be innovative? And if you can touch all these 4 bases, you will have a team that is very strong, and that is what I call a leg with 4 tables, a table with 4 legs, and not 3 legs, because a table with 3 legs collapses. And so once you have that, you have your blueprint. And after your blueprint, you need to get to work. You need to start executing. And during execution, it's really important to give each other feedback. There's the plan, do, check, act cycle. So you need to check whether what you're doing is working. So you need to give each other feedback. You need to tell each other what is going well and what needs to be improved. And you need to do this on a personal level. At least that's how I did it. And I always say there are 4 reasons, there are 4 principles that you need to apply when giving or receiving feedback. The first principle is that feedback is a human right. Everyone in the team has a right to feedback. And unfortunately, often we don't give each other feedback until, for example, until someone leaves the company or leaves the team, or even worse, we don't say nice things about someone until they are in the grave. So in our work we say no, giving feedback is a human right, and everyone needs to get it, preferably every week or every month, but regularly. The second principle about feedback is that it's free. You are free to say what you think. And the other one, the person you're giving feedback to, is free to do with it what they think is right. The third principle is that feedback is a gift. So I always say all you need to do is receive the feedback and say thank you. You don't argue about it. You only ask a clarifying question if it's really unclear, and usually the facilitator didn't ask that question. And the fourth principle is that feedback is personal interpretation. So if you get feedback from someone, it is their subjective interpretation of a situation. So in a sense, it tells more about them than about you. But it is important to know what they think of you in the situation. Okay, the sixth step is to execute in the moment. The team needs to learn how to be in the present. Not in the past, because the past is history. Also not in the future, because the future is a mystery, but just in the present. What happens with sports teams, with important games, is that they become afraid to lose. So then they're busy with the future. And that doesn't work, because when you become fearful and afraid to lose, your muscles cramp. You just don't play as well. So execute in the moment. And the seventh step is to use stress as a change agent. Stress will expose your weaknesses as a team. Stress will show what are your overextended strengths. It will show what are blind spots. So you need to use stress just to become better. And there's also something else that's really important about stress. When you and your team are high performing, your body produces dopamine, and dopamine makes you feel good and makes you feel like you can conquer the world and that you can go through a wall. But the interesting thing is that stress reduces dopamine. So stress reduces your performance levels. Unless, and this is very interesting, unless there is enough oxytocin in your blood. And oxytocin is the hormone that gets that's produced when there is a relationship and intimacy and love between people. So in a sense, when the stress is high, you need to, in order to overcome it, you need to have a very strong foundation of relationships. And oxytocin is very much related to the feeling function down here. So this is basically how you the 7 steps towards building a high-performing team. Let me say a little bit about my expectations for tomorrow. I think the US will be under less stress because they've made it to the next round and to the final 16, and I don't think anyone expects them to go very much farther. So I think the Netherlands will have a lot more stress. And I think the Dutch have a very good coach in Louis van Gaal, but I think the mistake he made is that he made very explicit that the team is together to win a championship, to win the championship. So what he puts in the center is the what, is the result. And my experience is that that doesn't work. You need to put something in the center that transcends the result. So, you need to think about, why do you want to become a world champion, and what would that show, and what would that prove? You need to find a deeper reason, or you could say a higher purpose. And so this is so I think mentally, emotionally, the United States has the edge. I think that'll make the difference. I also think the United States is a better team, although the Netherlands has better players. One more final thing. I decided to put the Kindle version of my book on sale on Amazon for 99 cents. So chapter 12 and chapter 13, you'll find the work, more details about the work I did with the Dutch women's team. So you can find it there. I wish you the best, and whatever the outcome is, I hope I hope it will make you happy. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.